YouTube, the ADL, and that payment processor, they've teamed up to delete people. Anyways, Hitler, the USS Liberty. The USS Liberty was, they tried to sink it. Israel or Jews, or is it safe to say it's Israel or Jews who tried to sink the USS Liberty? And they told everybody to keep their mouths shut about the incident. But they spoke up, say 20 years later, they said, fuck it, I'm going to talk anyways. And the American flag was flying high. It was very visible. So it wasn't a case of mistaken identity. They knew exactly who they were bombing, and they got away scot-free. So yeah, is it Jews or is it the state of Israel, or what is the ADL doing in America? The ADL, the Defamation League, pretty much they go around defaming people and deleting them, right? It's not the Jews who are really in trouble, it's who the Jews hate, right? If you're anti-Semite, I think Owen Benjamin said this, it's not you hate Jews, it's the Jews hate you, or they delete you, right? So, yeah, that was, he came up with that, or he said that. So, yeah, the people who bombed the USS Liberty were Jews. And that was a military ship, kind of like a spy ship. They tried to sink it, but it limped away. After they killed like 30-something people on board, they were using nasty weapons, machine gunning lifeboats. Pretty nasty folks, actually. And they get and speaking of which, the Boston Marathon hoax where the Tarzan brothers got set up, the Israeli IDF, was it the Defense Force or whatever? They were part of kind of staging that theater, that media theater. Then, of course, they make a movie about it a few years down the line to kind of reinforce the bullshit, So, yeah, There's a book out that somebody wrote, somebody neutral that blames Israel for 9/11 specifically. He made a pretty good case. I haven't read the book. I've listened to the author being interviewed a few times. He makes a pretty good case. So anytime you call out these people, you're shut down by, being called anti-Semitic, right? Imagine if you do something and I can't call you out because of being called anti-Semitic, right? Imagine me or anybody doing something wrong. Obviously, it's like plain as day who is doing it and what they're doing, but you're unable to call them out on it because, people like Trump and DeSantis are putting into law that you can't talk about them. In Germany, you can't deny the Holocaust. I mean, a lot of people died in that war, but apparently only Jewish people matter. Those are the only deaths that actually mattered, not the German deaths or any other people's death. It's just Jews, which in itself is both a race and a religion. Uh, but I don't know why I'm on the subject, how I got on it. Uh, they don't. I remember. I think back in the day, I was working for a trash company as a trash helper, and I think I was, being attacked by that group, or I thought I was. I was being attacked because I don't know what I said. It was I was thinking it to myself, but I was being attacked by them specifically because of, I don't know. So they got their hooks in me, I guess. I don't know if the ADL does. So then I just decided to call out other stuff like, companies that employ non-humans, right, that look like humans, large companies, right? So they're attacking me. So I want to attack back, right? So, here in the last week, I just, I'm not on social media too much. I'm watching the show, right? I'm watching the show, everything play out in whatever way. But I'm not really active, like, politically or talking about any racial or religious group. But I'm, you know, having to deal with stuff in my scalp, and, I want it out of my head, and I want to, I got to dig it out, I guess, because I want relief. So, since I am minding my own business and I'm being attacked, I, I got to ask why and who, right? Who and why. Uh, I don't know. I was talking about Lewis C. Clark the other day about, uh, what he got exposed for doing. I'm not sure why, why or who is, putting the stuff in my scalp, or why. I don't want to blame the Jews, you know. Uh, I'm not trying to scapegoat anybody. Uh, I just don't know who or why. That there's, who kidnapped Elizabeth? Why? And murdered her? Why? If she was guilty of something, or I was guilty of something, then let let her go on trial, or let me go on trial if you have some kind of a shred of evidence. So without going into the spiritual, esoteric, whatever, cause and effect, uh, you just can't blame the devil for everything, or you can't blame me for everything, but you can try, I guess, if you want. Like I said, the whipping boy or whatever. But I'm not sure what that gets you. I'm not sure what killing Elizabeth did for you. Did it stop, accidents? Or we know kind of the premise of why, but since it's not on paper, uh, what does that get you? What does that stop? What did that accomplish? So yeah, I don't blame the Jews for kidnapping and murdering Elizabeth. Not at all. I mean, they did bomb the USS Liberty. I mean, they've been called out for 9/11, and a lot of people say the same people that are responsible for 9/11 are responsible for the whole COVID-19 thing. And Homeland Security was born out of 9/11. Homeland Security is actively trying to enslave humanity, America, with stuff, by writing certain legislation, that's anti-freedom, basically. So Michael Chertoff was the first head of Homeland Security. He's a dual citizen, U.S. Israeli, and he actively blocked. He blocked real investigations into 9/11, which, by the way, no airplanes were used in 9/11. So that's why there was no. And this 9/11 happened after Satanists here in California kidnapped, murdered Elizabeth. I don't, bring that up every day, but, the other day I was going through the whole thing about, how it all started at Sandon, the air conditioning compressor manufacturing plant in Wiley, Texas in 1996. How I mentioned to somebody about the lights, how maybe the lights were affecting people, as was my just whacked out idea, like, in the brake area, it gives you, since we're electrical, and I kind of felt like the electrical was affecting our electrical, right? So the light, some light signal was affecting our electrical vibration, so to so when you go in a brake area and you have those lights in the brake area, they're relaxing, so you kind of have a relaxed mood, but it's artificial. Or when you're working, you're in that work mood because of the lights, right? So they're affecting your state of being, right? Not like an implant, under your scalp that's really bothering you or toying with you, but it's more just blanket kind of. And I kind of noticed that in different stores. The whole tone would be set with lights. It was kind of a hypothesis or a guess, just a thought in my head, right? That's how it all started. I said something to a guy named Varghese, some Indian guy. I just made a wisecrack about the lights, and next thing I had all these spooks following me around, like with these energy weapons pointing, energy weapons at me, which would be like electrical, Then next thing you know, there's rape, happening in your sleep, and Elizabeth gets kidnapped, murdered satanically in California, and it all just was from just a funny observation that I made about lights in a factory, right? A thought in my head that I just thought, could have been whacked out. Who knows? But maybe I was onto something because all that happened, right? But yeah, I'm against the people who bombed the USS Liberty got away with it. So I'm against those people. I'm not for those people. Why would I be? They know who they are. They exist on lies and deceit and subversion and fear, right? They literally make it so you can't talk about them. They literally throw old ladies in jail for, in Germany. If you deny the Holocaust, you get thrown in jail. That's how serious it is. So the truth fears no investigation, but certain things like Sandy Hook do fear investigation. That's why they have to go after Wolfgang Hellebig, threaten him, his family, threaten him, right? Because they're full of shit, right? So when somebody's full of shit, they fear investigation, right? Because they're full of shit. So we can talk about Sandy Hook or anybody who questions the Holocaust, they get shut down as being evil because you can't investigate it and you can't question it. Just like you can't question COVID-19, you can't question the 2020 election. Why? Because There's something to question there. That's why. And they have fear. Because if you question it and you find out, then it's game over. So we have to shut it down. That's right, shut it down. Don't question anything. Yeah.